Welcome everyone to the L7C podcast, the first My Hero Academia episode of 2025. So we have
Woohoo!
returning to the L7C in 2025 for the first time, depending on which episode you listen to with her, because she is doing a double recording today. You have the 2024 tied with the top episode with the Dragon Ball expert Mitch Oso, Andrea Alaniz. Welcome back. Happy New Year, coming off a tied for number one spot from last year.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Wonderful to be here. Ready to start the year off strong. Obviously, like you said, two episodes in one day. Let's knock it out. Was on a 2 month hiatus, rest period, whatever we want to call it. And now we're starting off strong. Maybe we'll see if I can sneak in a third episode this month. We'll see. We'll see how much
Oh,
I want to
well, technically,
be
you,
present.
spoiler alert. I mean, you might have to try and sneak in a fourth one because technically you have a third one set up if you make the return of the old Naruto crew that haven't been together in
That's
years.
right. That's right. Oh my God. When we haven't. We haven't been together in years. Just talked to Byron. And again, depending on which order these episodes come out, it might sound a little backwards. But we recorded with Byron before recording this one and talking about the fact that, yeah, we're going to need to do some research on Naruto because I have not thought about the specifics of Naruto in a freaking hot minute. So
Yeah.
doing some research to be prepared for that. But I'm so excited, especially if everyone can show because those are always really, really fun and honestly hilarious.
Yeah, it'll be good to see who shows up for that, getting the people back together. Because again, we have not been together for a while, but we are here talking about My Hero Academia, 2025. We know the series is ending. It already ended in the manga. It's about to end in
Yep.
the anime this year. But before they leave and before season 8 begins, we talked about it at the end of last year. They dropped a bombshell saying, hey, we're going to make My Hero Academia Vigilantes into an anime. It's going to start in April. It's probably going to carry us a little bit, probably until right before season 8 starts.
That's my
So,
expectation as well, for sure.
so yeah. So we're here to talk about Vigilantes, just a basic preview and things. And like Andrea, just right off the bat, what are you expecting out of this anime?
I'm expecting like a little deeper world building. Again, so we're at the end of the main story, My Hero. Vigilantes is a prequel, so we're going to get more background information. After seeing the trailer come out, I didn't really know anything about the main character. A friend of mine would talk to me about Vigilantes, give me little tidbits here and there,
Hmm.
and I was always interested in either reading it if it never became an ever got adapted into an anime.
Hmm.
I'm really excited that it is going to be get an anime adaptation. So then that's my preferred, honestly, way to consume the art form, the media, the storytelling, and getting to see that. I'm actually slightly surprised that Vigilantes is also centered on somebody who idolizes All Might because I was kind of hoping the main character would have had like a slightly different favorite hero. But we see in the trailer that he's wearing essentially a homemade version of the All Might onesie that Deku has as a small child, which was really kind of cute.
Hmm.
Um, but he just seems like a very chill. He comes across to me as like a low motivation kind of person. I'm actually also really kind of excited to find out for sure because I don't know, but it seems like these characters are all going to be adults. No,
Yes.
everybody's already finished high school.
Yes.
They're adults. They're in the real world. They might have more real world insight. And from that perspective, like I said, I really do expect this to go deeper into the world building and potentially into, the gray areas and the shadows that kids who just, stare at the bright light of heroes never got to see or experience. So that's what I'm really expecting out of Vigilantes is to give us that peek behind the curtain, especially is the time frame 5 years before My Hero or
Yes, you are 100% correct. It is 5 years before we meet Deku. So that is actually kind of crazy in itself that all this is happening five
so
years before
close?
the main
Yeah.
story.
And I wonder, and again, from what I understand, I did read a summary about Vigilantes.
Hmm.
is that while it's not directly correlated or it doesn't tie directly into the story, how much of what happens has an impact on Midoriya's story? How much of it does cross over? What might happen in Vigilantes that set things up a certain way for Midoriya's story, for society to have to deal with during Midoriya's story?
Yeah. It's crazy too for people who don't know. Like Vigilantes was a very popular manga. And we're talking this ran from 2016 to 2022. That's
Mm-hmm.
6 years. 6 years. And that's a good run for anything, a TV show, a manga, movie verse. They had 15 volumes worth of manga, so the animators are gonna have a lot to work with.
Yeah.
And like 5 years, we're gonna see like a lot of different things. So that means we're gonna see an All Might 5 years younger, which means we're probably gonna see an a lot stronger All Might than we actually got to see when the show
Yeah.
started. So for the people who love making like, oh, this is how strong All Might was like 5 years before the series, we might get to see some really cool shit with
Mm-hmm.
that and like why vigilantes stopped because there's really not that much besides if you want to call Stain a vigilante or anti-hero, whatever you want to call him, like
Right.
why they stopped. How again the difference
Or do they
because
stop? Because truly, I mean, the
that's
idea of
true.
my hero, we're only focusing on the heroes. We don't really
Hmm.
see, other than when Midoriya becomes a vigilante, we don't see any vigilantes. We don't hear about them, but they could very well still exist. We just don't know about them.
That's true. And just like think of we see Midori and their crew grow up to their like close to their adult ages. These the people hidden, they're already going to be like you said, they're already adults. Like they're already young adults, so they're difference in worldview. They're not like the wildly eyed kid. Like they're
All
not just black
naive,
and white.
everything
Yep.
sunshine rainbows, or pure angst like Todoroki coming in with a vengeance. Just to me, the main character seems like just a normal dude who's gonna have a normal life. Like it's not expecting to do all that much or hopes that he's gonna doesn't have great hopes. He's just kind of he's coasting is what it seems like to me
Hmm.
in life currently during the trailer. And it's going to be interesting to see how is he just playing that way during the daytime and then he puts on his, all might onesie, I'm going to call it, to do his vigilante stuff, or does he have like some sort of encounter that flips that switch or runs into somebody who reignites that desire that he originally had? Like what exactly inspires him to do it? Was it um something he already had and was just going and doing on his own? Or did it take something happening for him to have that like aha moment? This is what I'm meant to do. This is what I should do, despite the fact that he's not legally allowed to do it. Because vigilantes, by definition, are not pro heroes. So this would mean that, any fights that they're in and the cops show up, technically the cops are supposed to arrest both because
Hmm.
they're not operating legally. They're not using their quirks appropriately according to the law. So
Yeah.
that's going to be another angle to look at. Kind of like when after the hero killer arc fight, Stain versus Todoroki, Midoriya, and Ida, the police chief had a very serious conversation with them, like, hey, y'all broke several laws. Y'all are not licensed heroes. This is not okay. We could prevent you from ever becoming a hero because of this. But we'll look the other way this time. Just don't do it again.
Yeah.
These vigilantes potentially may have already had that conversation once, but we also know of an instance where doing something like that landed somebody's life, bounced it into a life of crime, which was gentle criminal. So, like, technically, it's they're vigilantes by nature are already towing that line, and they're walking a fine line between being beneficial and potentially, wanting to do good but not having the proper training or understanding and clearance that should something go wrong, they're doing more harm than good. So that's it's gonna be really interesting. I'm just really excited. It's
Yeah.
it's basically a month away from today. Today is March 6th. It's coming out
Hmm.
April 7th. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of stuff. I know they're gonna tie a lot of things about the past, like You're going to see a lot of Aizawa's past, like how he came to be to became the teacher of 1A and like all these other people's past. It's going to be sad seeing people we know who are gone, like
True.
Midnight, like seeing them. And again, this is 5 years before. So the biggest thing too is and we're going to see how far this man all for one planned in advance because he's going to
Right.
be in it as well. So, he's because that's probably All Might's main focus as he's still obviously looking for a successor.
Right.
So, and it's 5 years. Goodness, when I was just hyping the season up on the other podcast, I need to remember how long the gap was of All Might's breakup with Night Eye to the start of the
Oh, that's right.
series.
That's right.
Because they could still, if I don't know, but they could still be a group right now
They
before the
could.
breakup. Because Night Eye wanted Lemillion to
Hmm.
inherit it. Lemillion's in year 3, so that means when he still wouldn't even be in school. If this is 5 years before the series,
Hmm.
so they could still be together.
They could. Because the breakup specifically happens right after All Might gets seriously hurt. So it
Hmm.
depends on when that fight happened with All for One, when All Might got seriously hurt. Was it 5 years ago? Was it older than that? Or was it sooner than that? Because like that's kind of the key question, especially to your point about, this is 5 years before we'll see a stronger All Might. That's only true if that fight that weakened him hasn't happened yet. Or maybe that's the year that it does happen and all those like ripple effects cause this,
And I
despite the
also meant
vigilantes or
stronger
whatever.
that the ember's still burning, like it's burning still, because he hasn't
Right,
given
for
it to
sure.
anyone yet.
That's true.
But I mean,
That's
there's a
true.
whole bunch of different things too, because I don't think we're going to see Midori or anything, but All for One could be like, hey, I've been scouting these, to his little doctor, I've been scouting these people for the league. And then you see him hand the doctor the profiles of Dabi and Toga.
Hmm.
And he's like, Shigaraki, like, before the season started, Shigaraki was like, oh, I'm going to be the next big whatever. So he
Yeah,
obviously recruited him way before that. Like, he was already underneath his wing. Like,
that's true.
we're gonna
Very
see
true.
all of that. I think we're gonna see a lot of forward stuff that is
Yes,
prevalent like today,
absolutely.
which I'm
Abs.
excited for. Like, is All Might's dude? Is he just a lowly beat cop at this point, or is he like the
Oh,
top
right.
cop
Oh my God.
already?
Yeah. Could they be building that relationship up to show why All Might trusts him so much? Why he
Hmm.
gets to know the secret?
Obviously, like, is this when All Might started at UA? Like, is this when he had to? Is this where he started finally to start to look for the successor? Like you said,
Right.
depending on what happens, and you got the principal there, and you have all the different avenues. And do we get to see some America stuff from All Might? Like
Do we get, oh my God, saying the America stuff is like, could we get like a video call with him and Star and Stripe? That would be fucking awesome.
that? Then another person who's gone. That could be something too, because it's like, hey, it's 5 years from now. Yeah. And I think
Maybe she's
too,
just checking in on her, senior, being like, hey, letting you know I'm doing pretty badass things over here,
yeah, because
making you
he
proud.
He obviously, yeah, because he called her, well, in season 7 when she died, he called her by her first name, like, oh,
Right.
Cass. So it's like, all right, so you actually know the person. So we could get all of that stuff. We can get all of it. I mean, we're right in the middle of like All Might's still firmly the number one hero on the planet. So like when you said
Absolutely.
about like the main character like an All Might, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's just like any basic person. If you like someone, you probably like the top person in the thing that you like. So it's
That's
like,
true. I was just kind of when we go into the backgrounds of the different like class 1A students, like Red Riot, really enjoying that his favorite hero was I'm forgetting his name right
Red
now.
Riot, Red, because it was a Red Rocket or something.
Yeah, it was something, but his whole thing, and he's adopted his whole thing. The kid from the movie, the little boy, his favorite hero before, meeting Midoriya and all that stuff. I don't know if it's officially changed since meeting Midoriya, but his favorite hero was Shot. So like it
Hmm.
was cool to kind of have characters look up to someone more than All Might, even though of course everybody looks up to All Might. You know
Yep,
what I mean? But
yep.
you're totally right. Like it makes total sense that he would be an All Might fan.
Hmm.
Just I don't know.
Uh,
Sometimes you can still like somebody else a little bit more for more personal reasons, but that doesn't mean you can't like All Might more for a more personal reason than just he's number one. Because obviously that's what it is for Midoriya. You know, he saves everybody with a smile. Bakugo, he always wins. Like you can attach different personal meanings even to the number one
You know
person
what's
by
crazy?
default.
I think I'm gonna go if they're gonna just connect it. I think the end of Vigilantes, because they're gonna have a
Uh-huh.
little time skip. I think the end is going to be the scene, the situation when All Might has all those people on his back on that damn fiery building,
Yes, that's
and then
recorded
they
and
see it on the
Midoriya's watching.
TV.
Oh my
Yep.
God, that would be so
I think
perfect.
that would be the end of the Vigilantes, and then you perfectly
Uh,
segue into
to my hero, yeah.
because you
And the
could,
kid watched. Oh my
ooh,
God.
you could do a crazy like rewatch then. Like if it ends like that, you could start on Vigilantes, then watch My Hero season one, then all
Yep,
the movies and all that combined. Like that gives you an ultimate rewatch.
that does. Oh my God, that's awesome. Because that, I mean, that's the fight for, I don't know if it's the fight for Bakugo, I don't remember, but I think that's also the fight for Todoroki.
Yep, what he
That's the
said
one that
with
he
his
watched on the
mom.
screen
Yep.
with his mom. Yeah, I was like,
hmm
that's the fight
I
for
wonder
two
too
out of
how
the big
different
three.
the hero rankings are because Endeavor's been
Yeah,
number two since he was like 20, so he'll still be number two in Japan. But like, I
yeah.
wonder where's Blue Genius at and all that? Where are the other people in that? Are some of these people still
Hawks
in
won't be there yet
school?
because Hawks is supposed to be like brand new to the top 10
hmm
because he's so young. So yeah,
hmm
Hawks won't even be on the scene yet. He's probably still,
In
training it up behind
in
the
his
scene.
in that shady organization.
Could what's her face still be in the top 10? Lady Nagant.
Oh, if she's still a hero, yeah. If she
Yeah,
hasn't
I
crossed
was like,
over, it'd be kind of crazy if All Might was the one who put her in jail.
it would be. It would be. I don't know. I feel like she would have been in jail longer than that, but I mean, I don't know the timeline perfectly. I don't. Um,
Well, they made it seem like all because I remember they had a little still of him on one side and her on the other. Is
uh-huh,
like he was the one doing all this, and this is probably what Vigilante is going to be about. Like All Might's doing all this stuff in the light, and then you have these other heroes who are doing stuff in the dark, getting their hands real dirty,
dirty.
Like Lady Nagant did, like maybe some of these vigilantes are. I know for
Mm-hmm.
100% fact Stain is going to be in this one way or another, like because this is his wheelhouse. Like this is probably where he could have been a hero or whatever. And then he's like, you know what? Now all
Nah,
these people are starting to care about money. I'm gonna become the hero killer. Maybe we see the scene where he fucks up Ito's brother. Like we don't.
I hope not. I really hope I hope we don't get to see that. I really do. But it would be a cool moment. Honestly, if we got to see it, it would be really cool. I also wonder if they're going to run into the Shie Hasaikai just like on the low, because technically this should be during the period that all the Yakuza are
Yep.
basically dead.
Yep.
But we know Overhaul has been also moving in the shadows to bring them back into the light, which
Yep.
he does within about 5 years from then. So he might be a teenager and they might just cross paths. He might make a cameo, whatever. That would be wild too. That would be really cool.
I can't wait to see. I can't wait if they give us some Easter eggs of some heroes doing some hero work, and we know 7 years from now they join the Liberation Army.
Oh my God, yes. Another like we get more like background on some of the traders.
hmm
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like,
Or even just some of the people part of the Liberation Army that just in their day-to-day jobs were low-key sowing seeds, like that guy who was a politician, the journalist lady, um, Redestro. I mean, he's fucking running a business. They might be
hmm
just they could be going after Redestro in the dark because they know he's leading this meta liberation front.
hmm
Oh my God, that I don't know. That's so I can't wait. I can't wait to see exactly what this story unfolds, taps into within the current timeline, and maybe what it doesn't, because it could go off into a completely new realm that I can't think of. I mean, we've this podcast, if nothing else, displays my lack of creativity, but my willingness to remain ignorant and have my mind blown with my lack of such forethought. So,
Yeah, it could do a lot of different things. Like before we get, because again, 5 years is so it's still a bit of time. It's not. It's still a bit, especially in anime terms. Like that's a
right.
long. Like we're talking about Midori and them. Aren't Midori's not even in middle school. Like he's still a kid. Like this literally is like
Yeah.
yeah, because 5 years. Like
Yeah.
because when
Five
we.
years from being 14, he's like 9, 10 years old.
Mm-hmm. So they're all
He
still
got to know
kids.
everybody.
And like we're just seeing that we might see them in casual passing at a store and we're just like, man, what destiny has planned for you?
Yeah.
Who knows? And then like the main character is this. Why do we we're about to be in season 8. What happens to them? Do they not make it out? Is this where
Hmm.
they're like it's not this hero stuff's not fun in games? Like so we see these people die and since they're vigilantes, they might die and not get any publicity because they were
Any
vigilantes.
sort of recognition, right?
Hmm.
Exactly. They
Which
won't get.
then that could push Nagat over the edge because they died doing the hero. They were still heroes. It's just they weren't licensed and they got used. That might push her over the edge. And then you have all the events following. Yeah, we got a
It's such a
lot.
great concept, and I'm glad it's fine. It's getting adapted. I'm just so glad because
They're doing two
it's
seasons
it's
in
gonna
one
it's gonna
year.
add so many layers to the story, and like you said, especially if they end it on a note that we recognize within the main story,
Hmm.
it would be like you said the perfect rewatch.
The fact that My Hero is putting basically two seasons in the same year is just wild. So I mean, they're going out with a bang. They're leaving no stone unturned. And hell, there might be a movie. Who knows? There might be a movie in
Honestly, there might
2026.
be a movie. I halfway kind of expect it. Considering not to be rude, but like a final money grab, get us in our feelings.
The final
Always
money
having a little
grab.
bit more content, people are always going to flock towards it. They will. I will. I know I would,
Yeah,
especially considering I've heard rumored that a lot of people were dissatisfied with the manga ending of.
that's because they were being hoes and they were
I know, and
mad.
that's okay, and that's fine. People are allowed. I don't know what it is. I really don't. So
They were mad their ships weren't confirmed.
well, and that's okay. And in that point exactly is part of why I think they will have a movie, partially to do that, kind of like Naruto the Last. Like, was it really necessary to do it? No, but it did officially confirm the ships. And for
Yeah, but
that
then it
reason,
also pissed us off too, like the diehards, because it's like real, like again, and that was, I guess you could say money because it wasn't. We're not talking the same money now, like because of
right,
inflation, but like you Naruto really, besides Neji dying
mm-hmm,
and him and then Sakura still loving Sasuke, you never saw any inclination of him actually giving a shit about Hinata. And then this
right,
movie comes and we're like, "Oh my God, we're gonna have Naruto and Hinata kissing in the moonlight to finally give the fans." Okay, I think fans would have been more happy if Naruto would have actually given a speech and be like,
mm-hmm,
all this time I've ignored you for Sakura, this and that, and I didn't realize that you love me. I was wrong, blah, blah, blah. Will you give me a chance? I think
right.
that would have made it infinitely better.
I agree.
Because again, I'm still and God, this is gonna I can't wait till we do the Naruto thing because I'm still mad that the fact that Sakura got to hug Naruto after the pain thing and not
Yeah,
Hinata. That will irritate me for the rest of my life.
I know. And that's totally fair because, I mean, it just is. The one comment from Sakura in the movie that's supposedly supposed to like wake Naruto up, I don't like it. I don't know if it's just like a mistranslation, but I don't like the comment about like Naruto, like what did she say? You love me like you love was it ramen? Like whatever, but it's not necessarily good for you.
Not suitable for
Um,
work. He eats ramen a lot. Not suitable for work.
right. So
So if he's doing that, then oh, not again.
it's one of those things where she tried to explain to him the different types of love. And for me, that just didn't sit very well because supposedly that's supposed to be the moment during the movie that he like opens his eyes because now he's being adored by the younger ladies like Sasuke used
Oh,
to be.
but yeah, but all those again, same thing. All them bandwagons, stay over there. Stay,
Yeah.
you were with us at the
But he was
beginning.
he was starting but and that was the thing is he was like kind of buying into it and being, like not he wasn't playing into it, but he was being flattered by it, whatever. And Sakura is trying to right the path and be like, bro, like this girl's been down for you forever. I know you like her, and the way you like her is actually better than the way you say you liked me. And then she throws in there, you only like me because I like Sasuke. And I completely call bullshit on that. I do. I completely call bullshit on that. Because
Ah,
why would
bro.
it be her compared to every other girl that likes Sasuke? That's stupid.
No, no. I mean, you could tell Naruto really loved you because if you ask any of them motherfucking getting, they would not have gone on that retrieval thing and rounded the troops up and almost
Hmm.
dies. And then he's apologizing to you that he couldn't bring your guy. Nah, man, get the hell out of here. That's again, I get it with the cash grab thing. Going back to my hero, I could see that. I could see an epilogue if I could see them doing an epilogue movie if they want to. They might just dedicate episodes to
Yeah,
that, like just
like
later.
OVAs. Hmm.
Hmm. But again, I'm not in a position to question what they've been doing since season six. So they know
True.
what they're doing. I
They
mean,
do.
they know what they're doing, animation, voice acting, all of that. So that'll be interesting because I mean, we'll be previewing season eight in September because it's starting in the fall. Like, and
Yep.
then it's the end
And I mean,
begins.
that's going to come right off the heels of the first Demon Slayer
Hmm.
Infinity Arc movie. So, like,
Yeah.
that's also going to be interesting to have those two to compare almost back to back because they are both in their final seasons. It's just one's being split up into multiple movies versus having a final season.
You just brought that up. I'm just can't believe that we were all idiotic and then say that on the last podcast. Of course, it makes sense. It comes out in September. My Hero starts in October. It stays
Yep.
out of My Hero's lane. I cannot believe it just flew over. We did not
I,
say that on the thing.
my bad, my bad. I just thought about it right now. Like, it just connected for me that, it's, September is when we're getting the English version because
Yep.
technically for the Japanese, it's July, so they have
Yep.
more of a gap. But
Hmm.
for us in the English version, um, yeah, it's September, October, boom, boom.
Yep.
And so, oh man, I also okay. Going back to Vigilantes really quickly, I am very excited to see what those fights are going to be like because I don't know what most of these people's quirks are. We don't know who the main villains or maybe low level thugs will say they might be fighting and what kind of quirks they have, or if they more rely on like underground weapons. Maybe we start seeing the first testings of, quirk erasing bullets. Who knows? I'm really
I'll throw
excited to
you
see what
one.
those fights are
First,
like.
I'll throw you one in there. First testing of Nomus.
That's right. You're right. Absolutely. Testing the duh. Hello. They might even be onto uncovering like how nomos are being created and then they just get snuffed out before they finally figure it out.
Hmm. So those are their work sealing bullets. I agree with that. Maybe fractures and like you're just seeing everything that All Might's been keeping together for 5 years without this group. Again, I really just want to know what happens to these main characters because since
Yeah.
they're not shown in the rest of the
Mm-mm.
stuff, that just usually spells bad news. And I want to see which pro heroes are in school because the way I think Mount Lady is mid 20s,
He
so
should
she's
be.
probably a
Yeah.
senior in this because if she's 23 when the start of the show starts, yeah, she's probably a student.
Ish. She probably is, but I guess her age throws me off because I could have sworn in like the first episode of My Hero, they're really talking about her like the new girl on the block. Like she's brand new and she's already broken into like her popularity is already soaring.
Let me,
So
oh, I got to, well, it's kind of the doing real life thing because I remember the very first time I remember her, even though she was shown before, the vivid scene is her on the little talk show at midnight, basically saying
yeah,
like, "You're the old
let us wear what we
model,
want.
I'm the new model," which is the saying that
Wild.
there's a new hot girl every day, and that's what Mount
Yep.
Lady's saying. I think she's in school. Listen to this. I actually made her a lot older than she was. Her
Okay.
first appearance,
Hmm.
she is 22.
Okay. Okay.
So then 5 years, she might be a senior at UA if she went to UA.
Yeah. I think she did because she
Hmm.
always comes out like to do school stuff with the kids. So I
Yeah.
think she went to UA. But yeah, so she probably would have been there. How funny would it be that Midnight might have already been teaching there and was teaching Mountain Lady, and then a couple years later, Mountain Lady is on TV being like, "Bitch,
Well, it's possible because she's 22 at the start. Midnight at the start. She's not even that. She's
she's
God. This
not
actually
old."
makes it sad. This actually makes it sadder. At the start, she's 30.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
didn't even
because I
make.
mean, Aizawa was only what 32.
Yeah,
Like he's
technically, we are the teachers at UA if we're
yeah,
doing age wise.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I think a lot of them have like actual birth years. Like if you look up their birthday, are in the same vicinity as ours.
I mean, All Might is old as shit.
Yeah,
Compared, which is what he's not old, but compared to all these other, wow, that's actually kind of wow. Now I gotta let me look up because I know All Might. They were talking about he was like number one for 40 years,
right. So if he became number one at like 18, that means he's 58 years old at minimum.
which I don't think he was number one that
That soon, I don't think so either.
because when he was eight, because when
He
he
had
was
to go
still a
to,
student at UA, he was quirkless. You're right, Aizawa, our age, 30.
mhm,
He was 30 at the start.
yeah.
So let me look up All Might really quickly, just because I want to know what they had him as his age at the start of the series.
Well, now I'm
So,
also curious how old exactly is Gran Torino? Because Gran Torino, I would have assumed would have been in the 60s, but now I wonder if he's actually pushing like 70.
oh, you're right about his age. You're right.
He's 58?
I don't know why does it say pre-time skip? Wait, is he 50? Well, right now, pre-time skip, they said he was 55.
Okay. Okay.
So you were right. You're right on the
Yeah.
yeah, pre-time skip. So I guess and then current they have his age at like 63. So but when it all
Uh,
started, 50. So okay. Okay.
Jesus.
Okay. So that means if he was 55, that means Gran Torino was old as shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because he
uh,
was in his like essentially like probably physical prime when he was first introduced, and we see him with Nana. I still think low key that he's Shigaraki's grandpa.
we'll never know. Well,
We
maybe we will, but we'll
maybe we
never.
will. I don't know.
But we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be a good. My having My Hero back on television in general is gonna be good. But the fact that they actually are taking the time to do this spin-off before
Before the
season
end,
eight,
to drop it in the same year as their final season, because
yeah,
at that point, that's also making a judgment call of like, nah, like we don't care that it's going to be in competition with like our other production. We don't care. We're doing it. They're being real ones, is what they're doing,
yeah.
and we appreciate them for it.
Well, I don't. I'll be. Oh man, I'm gonna be sad seeing like because that means she's gonna be just starting probably like a young Midnight. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen some manga panels of her like in that stuff, and they're just like, oh my gosh, she looks so great. I'm just like, I know she's gonna die, like, and she's
Yeah.
gonna have all these dreams about the future, and I'm just gonna be like,
Oh, oh no, don't say that. Don't say that.
that's the
Oh,
truth.
it is true, but like maybe they won't do us like that. Oh, that'll be painful. That'll be so painful. Damn.
I know,
And
I
then
know.
if we do see the fight with Night Eye, that they, essentially like break up the duo. Also, I don't know why suddenly it popped in my head, Night Eye, Nightwing, Batman and Nightwing. Whoops.
Wait,
Anyway, I
5 year
missed
time
that.
frame because we have to talk. It's not a My Hero thing without the Todorokis. Is
True.
this where Dobby goes? The 5 years? Is this where he burns
Oh
himself
my
up and the
God, Mark.
professor yanks him up?
Oh my God, that's right. Because they're like, oh, he's gonna die. He doesn't have the proper medical care. He ran away and we couldn't control him. No big deal. Holy shit, Martin. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Fuck. Oh God. I am both really excited to see if that's the case, but I'm also low key like, I don't want it to be the case because if he is like intricately involved, that means whoever tried to talk him down or whatever obviously failed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, I mean, this could be, I mean, this is around the height of, Endeavor's abuse towards
Yep.
Shoto
Yep.
and wife and neglect of his other children. So, I mean, it's something we've already seen. I don't know if it's going to be a point that's belabored, but yeah, having to keep in mind that all that other stuff is going on. Maybe we even find out about other heroes that have, darker home lives or darker habits the way that Endeavor does. And it's not such a quote unquote isolated incident. It never is.
Well, that's probably why Zao we're probably going to get so much about him because he probably doesn't want to take the job because his buddy's gone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the
We probably
principal.
also maybe see President Mike finally make the argument for him to come and become a
Mm-hmm.
teacher.
Mm-hmm. Like we got the principal who knows all Might. See, was he a teacher this time, or was he always the principal? Like we got all these different things again, all for one in the shadows. That's probably who All Might's looking for. He's assembling the crew that we don't know about. Like,
If they really do get on the tail of the doctor who's putting together the Nomus, I mean, we could also really see maybe that fan theory being confirmed of if, that doctor is the doctor Midoriya saw and his original quirk was taken,
hmm
or if I don't know if you've seen the theory that the boy with the red wings that was Bakugo's friend
hmm
was like his grandson and he killed him to then become part of the Nomu that could fly that had wings.
I could see that.
Like are we going to get into potential like proving theories like that? What kind of new theories are we going to come up with? Hell, this would, oh my god, Martin, this would also be around the time frame most likely that um Aoyama's parents met with All for One to give him a quirk.
To become the traitor.
Oh Lord. Oh, okay.
And again, with the anime stuff, they do a lot of anime only things too that they add
Mm-hmm.
extra stuff, so we don't know what they're gonna add. Like again, it's gonna be a once that comes on and it's back to weekly My Hero on Crunchyroll. It's especially with something that most people, I mean, if you haven't read it, if you have read it and it's good, you know you're gonna watch it. If you haven't read it and you've heard so much about it, you're gonna watch it. And it's like
Yep.
that's a win-win either way.
It is a win all the way around. I just have nothing but high hopes, and I know my hopes are not misplaced because my hero has always delivered, even in the quote unquote
As we were
seasons
just
where
talking
things
about.
quote unquote. That's why I was like, for some people feel like things dropped off or they dipped or things got too slow, whatever. Again, as I mentioned in the other podcast, for story building, you can't always go top notch the next level every single time. You can't. You have to take downtime. You have to rest and recover. You have to train. You have to build the story in the world. Like you can't do that. But I feel like I don't know. I don't. There's not a doubt in my mind that Vigilantes is going to come and just do phenomenally. I'm also really curious who the main female character is because again, I haven't read Vigilantes. I've just only been told good things about it here and there.
Yeah.
Nothing about the main plot, just kind of what's going on. The trailer is how I was introduced to the female character, and she just seems very bubbly, animated. Again, anime girl with pink hair, cute outfit. But tell me I'm wrong, but I don't think we actually saw her quirk. Do we know if she actually has one?
We don't know
Like,
what any of these people have, but if I do know something about when
uh-huh.
my hero introduces new stuff like this, specifically movies and probably this, all these quirks are going to be such bullshit. We're going to be like, where was this quirk at?
Absolutely we are. That is going
Just
to be
like
the
the
most
last movie, those quirks that were
frustrating
being
part.
shown were like, where the hell were these quirks at?
I mean, we also might run into just everyday people with overpowered quirks that never wanted to be a hero.
Or
It's
they're
not
over,
required if you have an amazing quirk that you become a hero.
or they were so overpowered. This is why we don't see any of them because All for One killed them all and took their quirks.
Oh shit.
And that's how All Might find, like, that's where we could be at. Maybe that's why maybe he took one of their quirks and that's why he's like a million steps ahead because one of their quirks gave him the ability to be a million steps ahead.
Maybe that would honestly, I would prefer that than just he's naturally that much of a tactician because fuck him. Like I, I'm all for being prepared. I really am. Of course, I'm not, strategic or a tactician like that, but having a plan A to freaking triple Z is ungodly.
So the
To basically
lady,
connect all of them to your main goal, that is wild.
so the main heroine of the thing, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not trying to scroll and get spoilers or anything, but
Right.
she's an alter ego type. So she's like super shy as like a civilian person,
Mm,
but then once she puts on her shit, that's where she can let her personality go. She's actually a her superhero name is Pop Step because I think to be like a pop star,
that's cute.
which would make, I mean, hey, 5 year, hey, back in that time, everyone wants to be a pop star, so
True. Hey, maybe she gets a an audition with Jiro's parents' record company or
that
something.
could be that she could be the voice that you're heard singing too, and it's like, damn, I want to sing like that. Could
I want to do
be,
that.
yep, could be,
There's just so many possibilities. That's it's so cool. It's gonna be so awesome.
yeah,
I'm excited. I can't stress that enough. I'm always excited for a new season of an anime I love, but like this is for me having the anticipation of having heard about the manga for a long time and never knowing if it was going to get made. It was one of those where I was more than willing to potentially like, all right, I got to know this story. So I'm really excited that they're bringing it to us in animation form, in animated form.
yeah, it'll be good. It'll be really good. I mean, I'm already thinking about when this is all over. You can watch My Hero Vigilantes, then season one, then like season two, then you watch the first movie, then like season three, season four, watch the second movie, season five, watch the third. Like you could have the ultimate My Hero watch thing.
Marathon.
And then you
Mm-hmm.
end it off. But Andrew, anything else on our preview of Vigilantes?
My last comment was it just popped in my head was kind of like
Mhm.
I wonder if we're going to meet characters who may start shifting our tier list of favorite characters. Like, what if I
Ooh.
find somebody in Vigilantes that I identify with more than Momo, or I like
Mhm.
more than Momo or Todoroki? Like, what could I find my new actual or my top favorite, my hero character? I don't know. We'll find out.
I have the opposite fear because of this. Since it was six
Okay.
years and there's gonna, however many episodes it's gonna be anime wise. My fear is we're gonna find cool people, get attached, and we know they're not gonna be around because they're gonna die.
Yeah.
Like my thing, like what if I start liking Midnight significantly more, and I'm like, damn, I wish they would have showed this side of her
Before she
before
died.
she died, or like if Night
Right.
Eyes in it, like oh my god, like not, if they showed more of him, it's like oh, I wish I would have knew this side before he died.
Yeah.
And like
But
these
I mean,
vigilantes, if they're super cool, oh my God, I wish the main character of this shows up in the final fight to help Midoriya, blah, 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 because All Might called in one more favor. And then
yeah.
I'm like, oh, this would be great for have the vigilantes come in because again, it's the end of the world. We don't have time for these schematics. But it's like,
Right.
damn, they're not going to be there because All for One already killed him because he thought they'd be problematic.
Yeah. I guess I'm still trying to be naive and like, ha ha ha, death doesn't happen. Because yeah, with them not showing up ever during all of these conflicts and struggles, it can very well be implied that they are either dead or it could be that they are constrained somehow because maybe they are in jail. Maybe they were part of the prison breakouts, but their quirks were already taken. Maybe we find out the government has already had a way to remove quirks or something that nobody else knew about.
Mm-hmm.
Who who knows? It's going to be a wild ride. I'm excited for it, even for those potentially like little knife turn moments in the heart of, damn, they really, they killed you off before we could love you the way that you deserved.
Yeah. Anything else?
Nope. Nope. I think that's it for me on the My Hero Vigilante front so far this month, unless they drop another trailer or something, but I doubt it.
Yeah. With that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Thank you all for listening and welcoming back Andrea back into the fold of 2025. It's kind of crazy because now just even thinking about it, depending on how many episodes, you might be hearing Andrea maybe once, twice, maybe three times a month for the rest of the year.
Y'all gonna
Pot-
be sick of me. Sick
Potentially,
of
because I
me.
mean, we got to review we got to review the episodes, and then that, and then whatever the summer projects, and then Demon Slayer movie, and then My Hero. So we are happy to have you back on the fold. And remember, Vigilante starts in April,
April
April
7th.
7th. So exact 1 month out from now. With that being said, L7C Podcast signing out. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C Podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.